There you are. Hey, I'm Marky, Billson. Name of the show is Tri-City Sports Now. And just one more thing on that Wofford victory against North. I mean, that was, even on National Signing Day, the early signing period, when I think anybody who was anybody really did sign, half the classes are coming in. I still think this is great, really, for all parties concerned. For the players, they make an early decision, but it's good. They make a decision. No more do they have to have the phone ring off the hook. A couple of local players signed with good FCS programs, one that's going FBS. I'll tell you about that here coming up. And I also, we'll be talking a little bit, a lot of stuff going on today here, but I do want to finish up with the game against North Carolina and Wofford. Forgive me here. I'm trying to catch my thoughts, if you will. You heard the cut that we just played with Roy Williams basically saying that, we got fat and happy and such. And it just wasn't enough respect, I thought, given to the Southern Conference. Like I said, I know it's been 18 years. The freshmen weren't born yet, or if they were infants. But certainly, this is not unusual for SoCon teams to beat ACC teams. Wofford did it this very year. 2 years ago, ETSU did it. I've always believed in the SoCon. 9 years ago, Steph Curry, if Bob McKillop had drawn up a better play at the end against Kansas, they didn't even get Steph Curry the ball. They just ticked off 16 seconds and then put up a bad shot down by 1. I thought it was horrible, horrible coaching by a coach with a great reputation, and probably well-deserved, but that, in his biggest moment, he failed. And that, sadly, is what I'm going to remember. No, that's not the first thing I'm going to remember about Bob McKillop. The first thing I'm going to remember about Bob McKillop, honestly, was how enthusiastic and how gracious he was to even the student media at Davidson, and how he would draw plays up for the media to show them how they worked. He wasn't afraid of secrets getting out. That wasn't important. He was concerned with teaching the game of basketball. I just wish he could have drawn up a play when it counted most, as well as he did for the media over the years. I like Bob McKillop. Didn't like him in the moment. It counted, sadly. Anyway, let's get back to Wofford UNC before we go on to other things here on Tri-City Sports Now. We will say that the one player to watch here, Fletcher McGee, who had a wonderful day for the Wofford Terriers. Now, Roy Williams was complimentary of his abilities.
He could have from three-point line. We said, guys, he's the leading three-point shooter in the nation. He'd made 93s coming into the game, shooting 57.8%. He's going to come after you.
So there you go. He gives some stats out and such. Now let's also... the one thing I will say about Roy Williams, now that I think about it, I mean, I never really liked him, when Bonnie Bernstein asks a legitimate question. You going to North Carolina? That's what everybody says. But I forget his exact words, but he, put his wrath on Bonnie Bernstein. What a big man you are, Roy Williams. You ever listen to Roy Williams, it is always, it is difficult for him to get, to give the other team credit, even when something like this happens.
Roy Williams already meeting with Mike Young. Hoover inbounds the ball. That's it. The Wofford Terriers have just knocked off the defending national champion, North Carolina Tar Heels. What a night to be a Terrier.
I can remember when Wofford was still a D2 team. Heck, so can Mike Ayers, the recently reported football coach. He left ETSU after beating NC State with the Buccaneers for Wofford, which still to this day I don't quite understand. Next thing that I would point out, I just think it's a huge victory. I think it is a victory that could really resonate in the Southern Conference. I think it could be two at-large berths into the NCAAs. I really do. The other thing, though, you got to talk a little bit about Mike Young. And, well, here's what he had to say about the victory.
That you can play and compete and, fight on the glass and do the things necessary to win a basketball game, and we did that.
So, yeah, great victory for mid-major basketball. Maybe, just maybe, Wofford could now be in contention for an at-large berth to the NCAAs. Throwing it out there. Signature win. And like I said, I think the only team that really, out of the SoCon, that had a legitimate chance to get there are guys that had legitimate chances, they just weren't selected, but that would have gotten an at-large berth since I've been watching SoCon basketball, would have been 99 College of Charleston. They were nationally ranked. They'd only lost 2 games, and they beat North Carolina. It was a stronger resume for them than even the 91 Bucks were. Of course, now CFC is in the CAA. They moved up. It was that sort of thing. So anyway, really looking forward tomorrow to Sunbelt versus SoCon. Georgia Southern, will they have gotten it right? They're 9-3. Former SoCon member. Now they have to come and play a former rival in ETSU. And a victory for ETSU would certainly be another statement game in the Southern Conference and would help the RPI out. And like I said, it's something that I'm really looking forward to. I'm really not that big of a basketball fan unless it is SoCon Conference. I love the idea of D1 in Johnson City, Tennessee. And I've always said that. You know what I don't like? College fan who cannot see the forest through the trees. Less than classy college fan. Or, what I really don't like, college fan that decides to attack a player because he didn't sign with his school. Aww. 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 All right. Here's what I'm talking about. Cade Mays, number 14 prospect in the country, out of Knox Catholic, originally committed to Tennessee. When chaos ensued with the Tennessee football program, even though his dad was a Vol for life, which is such a piece of propaganda, I'm sorry. Even though that happened, he decided that he was going to reopen his commitment. And he wound up signing yesterday with Georgia over Clemson and Ohio State. Georgia may be, it's always, what have you done for me lately in sports? Georgia, now the SEC champ. They may wind up winning the national championship, for crying out loud. So, it's difficult for me. Georgia's like the place to go, and Clemson is number 2. And really, Ohio State, which had the quote-unquote best recruiting class, that's also, they've got the biggest budget. They're the cock of the walk in the Big Ten. There's no question about that. I would not want to go to Ohio State. By the way, my mother got her master's there. My grandfather studied engineering there before World War II called, but he studied enough that he could become a chief engineer at some rather prestigious firms. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is that I would not personally want to go to Ohio State because there's like 51,000 students there. That's just too big for me. There are more students at Ohio State than there are people in Kingsport. So, yeah, and by a long shot, too. But anyway, Georgia, which also isn't very small, I think they've got more than 40,000 students at the University of Georgia. But anyway, Cade Mays decided out of Knoxville, okay, he will be a Bulldog for 4 years. Sort of a Vol for life. Okay. And here's what fans are saying about it on Twitter. This guy who calls himself Big Orange 2017, actually, GBO, I can't wait till we break your leg. Okay, let me just put it this way in a way that the FCC won't fine us. I can't wait till we break your effing leg, F-U-F boy. You stay classy. Here's something else. I just, good, this guy's from Rocky Top Revolt. Good riddance, maybe we'll get lucky and your career will be cut short and you can scrub toilets at Neyland making $8 an hour. By the way, son of a former, guy associated with Tennessee football program. When the going gets tough, weak biatches run where it's easy. You realize that Mays, we're talking about a 4-8 team against a team that's 12-1. You realize that. We're going to win with you, without you. VFL, guess you never were. We're going to win with that, really. You're going to go start beating Georgia now, really. After 41-0, you know the score, what's going on right now. Here's someone. The battle captain is back. F that kid. Should never be allowed back in Tennessee. By the way, I never understood really that profanity. It's hostility, but evidently, you want to be intimate with them. I never quite understood it. Here's somebody, Liberty Volhawk Lane Tyndall. I feel very, go. I want these people's names out there. They're so classy. I said I wouldn't tweet at recruits, but he has 2 more words to add. We can figure out what they are. Here's someone. His name is Luke Jackson. Okay, it is a Twitter handle at SWMP44. That is at SWMP44. Eat excrement. It's not what he says, but I have some standards here. You overweight copulator. I don't know what, I'm trying to not get fined and lose my job here. Feels great to say, it's amazing. Remember, Kevin O'Neill supposedly lost his job in large part, Kevin O'Neill, former Vols basketball coach, because he used 4-letter words around teenagers at his basketball camp. That was one main concern. And we even heard in this, coaching, right, that, oh my goodness, the profanities that some of the, bully coach Butch Jones. Now you have someone named March Hitchcock at March Hitchcock GB saying, feels great to say, 2 more words, bad decision, and go masturbate. You can figure out what he's saying, but that would be, you stay classy, huh? Yeah. All because a teenager, an offensive lineman, and remember what I say, you can always find another tackle. Vols were playing walk-ons at the end, it's all because a teenager, a guy who's never going to carry the ball, signed with Georgia. Really? On a day when the Vols went from 60th to 28th in the recruiting rankings? And this is your reaction to somebody, if you're from Knoxville, a hometown boy. Really? What? I'm just happy Twitter wasn't around when Leroy Thompson was. Can you imagine the racial epithets that would have been said? For those who don't know, 30 years ago, Leroy Thompson signed with Penn State and not Tennessee. He went to Austin East. Okay, later played pro ball. Later played pro ball with the Steelers. But I think Penn State at the time, they were either the national champion or a year off the national championship, one or the other. And, Now Georgia, like I said, similar, because Georgia may be the national champion this year. And this is the reaction. The guys I just named right here. And by the way, there's even a coach that comes out and starts tweeting whining. Now, not profanity, and I'll tell you about this here in a second, but there's even a coach that goes out for Tennessee and starts talking about how you're either with us or you're against us or something. We're talking about a lineman at Knox Catholic, a school that when I was at University High School was 1A. Really? This is you really need to get a grip. Wonderful to root for the Tennessee Volunteers, but not this way. You really need to get a grip. We're talking about a teenager here who blocks. And you're doing this because somebody from Rivals ranked them as a 14th prospect. And again, it comes down, I mentioned this before, those guys, Rivals, a lot of these people, they spend 30 seconds making these determinations on who is what, ranked where. So on what likely was a 30-second determination, you have allowed yourself to get this worked up? Really? That, my friend, is disturbing. That is really disturbing. And I think that the Tennessee fan base needs to look at itself right now. And I know that, 99% of the people don't do that. But, the reaction should be to those people on Twitter. If you like Twitter wars, I know most of you are probably above that. But if you do, those guys that I mentioned right there, yeah, you might want to say that Vol for life, we don't really want you at our party. If that's the reaction. Tri-City Sports Now.
Comfort and seating featuring stressless by